All right, so now I'm going to go through just a really simple scenario where you would initialize a Docker Swarm cluster. Obviously, this is going to be really simple. I can't cover like everybody's deployment scenarios ever, but I do want to go over just like a really simple case: one manager node, one worker node. I did this by just spinning up 2 servers on AWS. There was nothing they were totally clean. I only installed Docker, and then from there I just followed these. I'm doing this with my hands and you can't see it. I'm just following the instructions in the Docker documentation that are called create a swarm, which I will list below. So pretty much what you do is you SSH, and you can do this with Docker machine, which I never do. I just do a normal SSH. SSH to your manager node, right? Which you should have the IP addresses for all these things. I suggest like keeping all this stuff in a spreadsheet or something. You run through this Docker swarm init. I'm going to show you how you get the IP address of the manager node. Once you've done that, it spits out some stuff. Hopefully you should eventually get to add a worker to the swarm, run the following command, and then you're going to get this command. And then what you're going to do is you're going to SSH over to your worker node, and from your worker node, you're going to run this command. And then once you have that, that's it. Like you have initialized a swarm cluster. So we are going to get started with that right now. Okay, so what I have here is I have a few different terminal windows open for the sake of this tutorial. This one right here, this first one, this is my manager node, and the second one is a worker node. So what I have here is EC2 user at, blah, 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 blah. So then when I want to get the IP address, what I can do is I can run ifconfig, which right now has a stupid amount of stuff in it because of all the Docker things. But what you're looking for is this eth0, and then you're looking for the inet address. And that is what you are going to be using as your advertised IP, which I'm going to show you. So it's this one right here, and then it's Docker swarm init. Yep, it's this one. I'm not going to run it because I'll run it. Okay, so it's complaining because it's already part of a swarm. So you can see that this is fine, and then what it gives you. In this case, it gave me an error, but what this would be, it's like Docker swarm join, yeah. So then once I've run this, if I don't remember what my tokens are to add worker nodes, I can actually do Docker swarm join token worker. Otherwise, when you first run this initialization command, it's going to give you this same exact output here, but because I already ran it, that's fine. So then I can take this, and I can go right on over here to my worker node. So you can see they have 2 different IP addresses. And again, this is going to error because it's going to say this node is already part of a swarm. So that's fine. So that's it. So I initialized a cluster from my manager node, and then I added a worker node. And for the purposes of this tutorial, that is totally it. If anybody would like a video on specifically how I created this using AWS, I'm totally happy to do that. I just don't know, exactly what everybody's doing for deployment scenarios. So, and the purpose of this course isn't really so much to cover AWS, but I'm happy to do that if anybody wants to see it. So that's it. I hope you built up a swarm. I hope you at least tried to build up a swarm cluster, because it's kind of fun to build clusters. You can be like, ooh, look at all my computers, and they're all talking to each other, and it's all like world domination, and it's lots of fun. So that is it. And then in the next lecture, we are going to start to actually deploy some applications. So see you in the next lesson.